Too many outside voices through the news and social media have implanted an idea in your head that before you can have the American dream, you have to either save or pay off your debt first. The American dream has been to have a family and a home of your own, a place of peace and happiness. By the end of this video, you should have enough information to make an informed decision, even if the answer isn't what you expected it to be. I agree with the dream to own your own home. Yes, I know there's a debate going on between those who believe it makes more sense to rent versus those who say you should own. This is because landlords typically pay to fix the house and they pay for the insurance and taxes. So in some places and at a certain home price, this strategy does make sense. But for me, at the end of the day, there's nothing like owning your own home. A place that you can update to your liking, you can build equity, you can paint what you want, cut down ugly trees, plant a lemon tree, add a fence for the dog and kids, and you can knock down a wall because open concept is in. Which, by the way, I suspect in 30 years or so our kids will be like, "You all are so weird for having an open concept. We're Generation Z and we want some damn privacy." To own a home, it comes down to three main things: your credit score, your debt to income ratio, and your down payment. I'll get to each of these in a moment. Now, I've owned my home for nearly 6 years, and I love it. I look forward to coming home. I especially love coming home after I fixed up the yard or bought new furniture. It gives me a sense of pride anytime I'm able to show someone around my house, show them the things that I updated. Like I could say, this used to be carpet, now it's laminate flooring, or I took down all the popcorn ceiling myself and it was a pain to do it. And people typically go, "Oh, that's amazing. It must have been really hard work." You know, adult type stuff that makes you feel all freshly baked on the inside. I completely get why others want this feeling, and I want you to experience the same thing. The issue at hand is that some people are not in an ideal situation to afford a home. They either don't have a good credit score, they don't have the down payment for a home, or they have too much debt to where they wouldn't qualify for a home. There are other potential reasons, but we're going to just focus on the down payment and the debt to income ratio because those are easier to correct. People actually build entire businesses around credit score correction, so that discussion will have to come at another time. What I will say is that our discussion today could potentially help your credit score. When I was buying my house back in 2013, I barely qualified. I didn't have the down payment and my debt to income ratio was too high. I was 25 years old and I still had a ton to learn when it came to finances. But luckily, I had a great mortgage broker and an awesome real estate agent. So the first solution for me was to buy a USDA home, which required no down payment. A USDA home loan is a zero down payment loan for eligible rural and suburban home buyers. When I bought my home, they even wrote me a check. And I'm just outside the city limits. That's crazy. I also moved back in with my parents for a few months to pay off all my high interest debt to ensure that my debt to income ratio was low enough to afford the type of home that I wanted. So I found a few ways to solve those two main issues for buying a home. I do understand that the home buying process can be difficult because I've been there. And some of you may not have the same options that I used for buying a home. For instance, you might want to live closer to the city or closer to the downtown area, and you may not have the ability to move in with friends or family to help pay down some of your debt. According to LendingTree, the minimum goal for most people to qualify for either an FHA or conventional home loan is 3 to 3.5% down and a debt to income ratio of about 43% with a credit score of 580 to 620. So for example, using simple math, if you want to buy a $100,000 home, you'll need the down payment. Your down payment is the initial payment needed when you buy something on credit. For a house worth $100,000, you'll need to put down $3,000 to $3,500. This is your first goal. The second goal is for you to lower your debt to income ratio if it's too high. The debt to income ratio, or DTI as we call it, is all of your monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income. Let me break this down. Suppose you have student debt, credit card debt, and a car loan. each month you have to pay on these, right? So let's say your student debt is $500 a month, your credit card minimum payments each month are $100, and your car payment is $300, so your total debt per month is $900. Things you'll include are any loans, child support, or other debts. Other items like rent, car insurance, phone bills, utility bills, gas, and food are not included. Next, we need to include your gross income. So remember, DTI is your debt divided by your gross income. So your gross income is how much you bring home before taxes. And let's say you earn $39,600 a year, to make the math easy. So that's $3,300 every single month. To discover your DTI, we take your initial debt of $900 and divide it by $3,300. This equals 27% debt to income ratio, which means you most likely will qualify for a home loan. Remember, it's 43%. But here's the one caveat that gets people when they actually go in for a loan. If your current DTI is 27%, right? And the ratio you cannot exceed is 43% that I mentioned, once your new mortgage payment is included in your debt calculation, you may not qualify. So here's the example. Your original debt was $900, and what has to happen is we need to include your upcoming mortgage payment. This means at a DTI of 43%, if you're making $3,300 a month, your debt cannot exceed $1,420. So what you're doing is you're going to take the max of $1,420 and subtract $900. So that's the 43% that you can be at minus the 27% you're currently at. And this will give you $520 monthly that you can afford in a mortgage. So your mortgage broker is going to find this number for you, and what they do is they'll work backwards to determine how much house you can actually afford. This means also that if your current rent is higher than that number, you're probably paying too much in rent. Depending where you live, a mortgage of $520 puts you in a house worth about $65,000. Unfortunately, in our society, many people don't want to live in a home that's valued at this price. And more than likely, you won't find it in a good neighborhood if you're in the city. Again, this example will adjust if you're making more money or you've paid down a lot more debt and you're not at $900 of debt per month. What we do know is we are currently experiencing high rent and high student debt payments. So you can see why many people are still struggling to get into a home of their own. As a financial planner, I've seen people who are still paying off student loans well into their 30s and their 40s. I truly believe this problem will only get worse as future college prices continue to rise. Paying all of your income towards loans and living expenses gives people no room for saving or paying down their debt. So, depending on which survey results you believe, it's estimated that the majority of people can't come up with $1,000 or even $2,000 in case of an emergency. These are just a few reasons why I personally enjoy helping people solve their financial problems. It's because I want you to be able to live a more peaceful life. That's why I do what I do, and it hurts me when I see others struggle. But I don't want you to feel pessimistic about saving or paying down your debt, because if I've been able to solve this for myself at 25 years old with minimal financial knowledge, then I have a very good feeling that you'll be able to figure it out on your own as well. Here are 5 ideas of things you can do to put yourself in a better position for owning a home, saving, or paying down debt. Number 1, cut your expenses. You should go through your budget or just write down all the areas where you could cut back on things that you're buying that you just don't need. This could be clothes, eating out too much, start brewing your coffee at home in the morning, going out to the bars, cut your Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, Apple Music, cut back on travel. I know that's a big one right now. Cut your cable bill. All of these small little things add up to massive bills over time, and it could save you a ton of money. Number 2, set realistic expectations. So Understand the type of house that you can actually afford and what it'll take you to accomplish your goal. In many cases, you'll have to give up your dream of a basement, a garage, and a pool in the backyard if you can't afford it. You need to be realistic about the type of house you can afford right now. I'm not saying you have to have your dream home right now. I'm just saying at this very moment in time, you may not be able to get your dream home. You might have to compromise on a couple things depending on your specific financial situation. And understand, we want what we want. But if you and your wife can't move in with your wife's parents for a few months to get a larger down payment or pay down a ton of your debt before you buy the house that you want, then you have to compromise. So set those expectations early on. Now, if you do want a bigger home and a lot of land, then you might have to consider living outside the city limits. It comes with lower taxes, and you might be able to get a USDA loan, which means there's no money down, and the money you were using for a down payment could be used to update the house or pay down other debts. So there may be trade-offs on the things you have to compromise. But decide these items with yourself or your spouse or your partner, and you might have to exchange location, size of your home, or even school district, depending on those realistic expectations. Number 3, refinancing debt. Refinancing means replacing your current loan with a new one. You do this to get a new, lower interest rate. For example, say you have a credit card with Discover where your interest rate is 18% on $3,000 that you have on the credit card. But say you get a new card with Chase and move your debt to the new card at 12%. The extra fee you were paying in interest each month will drop by about $15 a month by just moving the debt to a new card. So this is going to save you $180 in a year just by having the debt on a new card. And if you have multiple cards, you can do this multiple times, which will save you a ton of money in the long run. Number 4, sell some stuff. If you haven't used it in the past year, sell it. Over the past year, actually, I've made over $2,000 selling items in my own home. It was completely by accident, though, because I planned on selling my home, but as soon as I sold stuff, I realized, hey, I really didn't need those things because I don't really miss them. Go around and look for things that you don't need or haven't used, and you can post them on eBay, OfferUp, or LetGo, which are apps you can download on your smartphone, and people literally will come pick the things up for you in a heartbeat. And I've sold a ton of stuff doing it this way. So $2,000 goes a long way for some people when it comes to paying down your debt or having that additional income for a down payment. Number 5 is self-awareness. Know which one makes you more comfortable, saving or paying down debt. If you feel more comfortable saving, then do that. If you want to pay down debt because you want it gone, and if you have it gone, you're more comfortable, even though you know you might have a higher mortgage payment down the line, then do that. If you feel better not having all the other debt, do that. So in the end, do what makes you feel comfortable, and regardless if you're saving or paying down debt, you're moving in the right direction, because both of them are smart money moves. If you want the scientific answer on whether you should pay down debt or save, it's to save the bare minimum for your down payment and then to pay down debt with the rest of your income to hit your minimum DTI. How you do that is completely up to you. If you'd like to learn more about what I do, feel free to visit Zenvestor.com, ZYNVESTOR.com, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you next time.